We are sitting here in Copenhagen with Kim Baden Christensen, co-founder and CEO of Brain Plus. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
Can you start off by telling us what is the core business of Brain Plus?
So at Brain Plus, we develop so-called digital therapeutics for treatment of dementia and some of the associated disease stages. So what that means is that we take therapies that have evidence behind them, we digitalize those so they become available on people's smartphones and apps, and so they can be used in clinical treatment, both in a clinic and in the home. And we take these products through, is like a medicine in terms of the rigor of clinical validation. So they go through clinical studies and they go through regulatory certification as well, just like you would with a medicine or a medical device.
Can you tell us something about your role as the CEO of Brain Plus?
Yeah, as a CEO, of course, I am responsible for setting the overall direction of the company, for making sure that we have, most importantly in my world, that we have the right people for the mission that we're on. That's my number one priority, that we have the money we need to do the things and reach the milestones that we do. And so a lot of my work now being a public company is also talking to the market, to the investors, but also having all the strategic partnership conversations as well.
How does the digital therapeutic and cognitive stimulation therapy differ from traditional dementia care?
Yeah. So right now there's very little therapy in dementia. So there's very little treatment in dementia. So there is so-called care where people are just being helped to manage their daily lives. That's basically what you get if you have dementia today. In Denmark, 1 out of 4 people get some medicine that doesn't really do anything in terms of improving your symptoms or helping with the underlying disease. So there's really not much that people get when they have dementia today, not a lot to do. So what cognitive stimulation therapy does is that it's a type of therapy that brings get people together in a conversation. So it's a structured talking therapy, basically, with certain guidelines. So people, the way it's delivered today, they sit in groups and they have a therapist that guides the conversation based on certain principle. And this has a measurable, significant effect on cognition, meaning the ability to think, to reflect on things, to focus, to remember. That is cognition, broadly speaking. So this therapy method is a broad stimulation of the brain and has a lot of evidence behind it, about 100 randomized controlled clinical trials, which is also why it's the recommended therapy for people with dementia in both the UK and in Germany.
How are the tests of the digital therapeutic software solution going?
They're going well. We have concluded several clinical trials so far, 4 in the feasibility and proof of concept stage for our 3 core technologies, of which this cognitive stimulation therapy is the first one that we're going to put on the market. So we got some positive trial results from the Oxford study in healthy elderlies on our memory test for early preclinical detection of Alzheimer's disease. We got a couple of publications out on our first generation of computerized cognitive training, which is our second technology in acquired brain injury and Parkinson, which are high-risk groups for developing dementia. And we got positive pilot results also on cognitive stimulation therapy, showing a similar type of effect for those who adhere to the treatment, as we have seen in the method that's being used today out in the clinics. So that is very promising, and now we're running more studies. So we have 6 ongoing studies that we will be getting data readouts from, and most of them this year.
Are you still able to launch your first dementia product in 2023?
Yes, and in fact we have very good news on that front, which we last Friday announced actually that we'll be able to launch the first product already this year in 2022. So that's all in all now 3 years ahead of plan versus what we were saying in the IPO.
Yes. You announced in December 2021 a strategic partnership with ROX Health. Can you give us an update on how that partnership is developing?
Yeah, very, very nicely. It's been really a pleasure to work together with the ROX Health team this year. We are working very closely on how to get these products to the German market. So we're starting with the first product, which is the same one that will launch in Denmark this year. That one will launch in Germany next year. That's the cognitive stimulation therapy product called Therapist Companion. And so our regulatory team and their regulatory team have been working very closely together to find out what is the right pathway and sequence for that from a regulatory perspective. And I can definitely attribute some of our ability to go to the market earlier also to that partnership.
You carried out an IPO on First North Copenhagen in September 2021. How has that impacted the company?
Very much in different ways. So I think the first for me, as from the CEO chair again, has been the ability to attract really good talent. So we've managed to hire some amazing people since we IPO'd. Our new CFO, Bertil Jensen, several people within the scientific area, clinical, regulatory, that would otherwise be hard to get. We've managed to get new board members. Earlier in August, we announced 3 new board members, of which one of them is the chief of R&D at Lundbeck, and is one of the foremost experts in the world on Alzheimer's and dementia, and 2 other very heavy hitters within life science and digital therapeutics. And this would not have been possible if we were not a public company. And of course, we also exerted to the market, which has been really interesting experience. The whole market has been down this year, and we have followed the index, but actually we broke that trend this week. We've just recovered almost the full decline this year, which puts us among one of the top performing companies now in First North in Denmark.
And what does the market competition look like?
So the competition, I think there are two different categories of competition, you can say. There is the competition from the drugs, because we're looking at therapy, right? And there is 140 drugs in the pipeline, but that's also a partnering opportunity, because the big pharma companies are looking for digital products that they can combine with the drugs, either as a value-added service or actually as a synergistic service, where when you do the 2 treatments at the same time, you get an even bigger effect. So on the one hand, it's competition, but for us, it's more of an opportunity, and we're having a number of dialogues with these companies. Then in terms of just our own category, which is software, we're literally the pioneers and the only ones doing the concept stimulation therapy software. And then there are companies offering memory games types things, but they have no clinical evidence in dementia. So they're not really, they're more like for keeping elderly people and people with dementia active. So while it is competition in terms of clinician share of mind, it's a whole different category once you start having the clinical evidence, you start having certifications, and you have a whole different level of recognition, and you can also get the products reimbursed, which this competition cannot.
Going forward, how big is the market potential?
So we see the overall addressable market potential for digital dementia treatments to be $5 billion today, and that will grow to around 15 to 20 billion within the next 10 to 15 years. And if we look at a comparable market, which is the market for digital diabetes treatment, which is the most mature one, that is already more than $6 billion today, and that is forecasted to grow to $30 billion within the next 6 years. If you look at the cost of diabetes worldwide, that's about $800 billion. The cost of dementia is already $1,000 billion, so it's already much larger. So we really see a very big potential and a very big unmet need in this market.
Finally, why should people invest in Brain Plus?
I think we have a very unique position, being the first with this digital therapeutics for dementias, particularly cognitive stimulation therapy, where we're working closely with the global KOLs on this as well. We have a team that has all the competencies, and if you look at the team roster, you'll see that you're investing in very good people. That has been our primary concern all the way, including the management team. And then we have not only the CST, but we have 2 other technologies we're already working with some of the leading universities in the world on dementia, including Oxford University, to develop our products. We have been very good at getting validation and grant funding also. So we raised over 8 million euros worth of grant funding, soft funding. So there's a lot of things that have put us in a very good position, working also with a big patient organization, Alzheimer Europe, Alzheimer's Disease International, the Global Alzheimer's Association, are in our projects. So we're really in a very good position, not only with the technologies, but also with the partners, and also where we are in terms of the market readiness for digital therapeutics.
Thanks for having us, Kim, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.